Ever seen someone ruin their own life while smiling at you? It started with an email I almost ignored. I was half asleep on the couch, scrolling through my phone out of habit when a notification slid across the screen. Reservation confirmed. The Majestic Crown Hotel. I frowned. That's a 5-star place downtown. The kind of hotel you book for anniversaries, proposals, or affairs. I opened the email. Suite name. Rosewood Executive Check-in. Friday 3 p.m. Amount charged, $1,749.99. Card ending, E3021. My card. My thumb hovered over the screen. For a second, I actually thought my vision blurred. I read it again, and again. No subscription, no glitch. Someone booked a luxury suite under my name. A small, uncomfortable chill crawled down my spine. I called my wife. She picked up on the third ring. A little too fast, like she was waiting for the phone to stop buzzing. "Hey," she said, breathing a bit hard. "Everything okay? Did you make a booking today, using my credit card?" There was a tiny, shaky inhale. Most people wouldn't notice it, but when you love someone long enough, you hear everything. Then her voice came back, suddenly smooth. "Oh, yeah, that. I booked a spa thing for us. A couple's surprise. You weren't supposed to see the email." She said it quickly, too quickly, like she had the sentence preloaded. "A couple's spa day?" I repeated. "Mm-hmm." A forced little laugh. "That hotel has good deals. I thought we deserved something nice." But her voice didn't sound like someone planning romance. It sounded like someone trying to outrun a question. When she got home that night, she was different. Her smile looked glued on. She hugged me longer than usual, but the hug felt stiff, like she was checking my reaction, not showing affection. At dinner, she kept talking. About work, about traffic, about random things she never cared about before. She wasn't being affectionate. She was being distracting. And every time I mentioned Friday, she blinked too slowly, then changed the topic. By the time we went to bed, I was wide awake, staring at the dark ceiling while she pretended to sleep beside me. She rolled over and rested a hand on my chest. Something she hasn't done in months. But even that felt wrong. Too gentle, too calculated. And as I lay there, that email kept replaying in my mind. Rosewood Executive Suite. 1 night. 2 guests. If this was really planned for us, why was I finding out by accident? Why was she the one acting scared? The answers didn't come that night, but the first crack had already formed, and the truth waiting behind it was darker than anything I imagined. And it all starts unraveling tomorrow, in ways she never saw coming. The next morning, something felt off before she even opened her mouth. She was fully dressed, earlier than usual, with a level of effort that didn't match a normal workday. Her eyeliner sharper, lipstick fresh, and perfume strong enough to reach me across the room. Not romantic, just suspicious. Like she wanted to impress someone, but not me. "Early meeting?" I asked casually. Her hand paused halfway through adjusting her bracelet. A split-second freeze, the kind people make when their brain scrambles for a story. "Yeah, something like that," she answered, voice too light, too rehearsed. She kept touching her hair, then her collar, then her bag strap. Tiny restless movements she didn't even notice. She only acted like this when she was hiding something. But the real punch came when her phone lit up on the counter. Just one line before the screen locked. "Same plan, same time, don't be late again." Her entire body stiffened. She grabbed the phone so fast she nearly dropped it, forcing a smile that didn't touch her eyes. "You're staring at me weird," she said. "Is everything okay?" "Yeah," I answered. "Just noticing. You look different today." She swallowed hard. "Just trying something new." "No. People don't try something new on random Tuesdays. People don't pack their bags fuller than usual. People don't wear a dress meant for candlelit dinners to a corporate meeting. And people definitely don't get messages like that before work." Then she did something that sealed it. Something so subtle viewers love catching. She hugged me goodbye, but her hands were cold. Not nervous cold, guilty cold. And her eyes never met mine. Not once. She stepped back quickly. Too quickly. Like being near me made her afraid she'd slip up again. "I'll see you tonight," she said, but her voice cracked on the word tonight. The door clicked shut. Silence filled the room. And then the realization hit me like a physical weight. She wasn't preparing for a trip on Friday. She was preparing for something, or someone, today. A meeting she couldn't explain. A message she tried to hide. A dress meant for a place she didn't want me to see. It wasn't paranoia. It wasn't overthinking. It was math. And every sign pointed in the same direction. I stared at the door for a long moment, my heartbeat steady, not panicked, not devastated, just focused. If she wanted to play with secrets, then fine. I'd follow the truth wherever it tried to hide. But this wasn't about catching her. It was about finally understanding who my wife really was and what she was willing to risk. So I grabbed my keys, took a breath, and stepped outside. Because today, the real story began. I didn't rush after her. I stayed inside the cafe for a few minutes, pretending to scroll my phone while my mind replayed her too-fast exit. When I finally stepped out, I kept a safe distance behind her, far enough that she wouldn't notice, close enough that I could watch every move she made. She walked quickly, jerky, like a heartbeat in motion. Every few steps she fixed her hair, checked her reflection in shop windows, pressed her lips together to make sure her lipstick was perfect. Not casual touch-ups, intentional. Like she was preparing for someone who made her feel alive in a way I hadn't seen in a long time. She reached the parking lot behind the plaza and paused, scanning the area too carefully, as if looking for someone specific. Her shoulders lifted with a shaky breath, the kind you take before stepping into a moment you've rehearsed in your head 1,000 times. A black sedan glided in and stopped right in front of her. Tinted windows, engine still humming. She didn't hesitate. She didn't look around. She just grabbed the handle and slid into the front seat like she'd done it 100 times. The man driving leaned slightly toward her. I couldn't see his full face, but one thing caught the light. Silver cufflinks. Expensive ones. Could have been older than me. Could have been younger. But definitely polished, smooth, confident, familiar. My jaw locked. Not from rage. From the cold realization that she'd built an entire routine around this, and I'd somehow lived outside it. The sedan pulled away, and I followed at a distance. Pulse steady, mind colder than it had been in days. I wasn't chasing them out of desperation anymore. Something had shifted. A quiet click inside me. A part of me didn't even care where they were going. I cared about how long she'd been doing this. How many times she'd walked out of our home with that same practiced smile. How many lies she had stacked without blinking. And the only question burning through my mind was simple. If today wasn't the first time, then how far had her double life already gone? I didn't follow her car immediately. I needed distance. Not from her, but from the anger boiling in my ribs. So instead, I drove to the one place she never expected me to check. The co-working office she claimed she sometimes used for remote meetings. It was a modern glass building. Quiet, half-empty, the kind of place freelancers rented by the hour. I walked inside with my collar up and my heartbeat low in my chest. And that's when the first punch landed. At the reception desk, the woman looked up at me and smiled politely. "Back again?" she asked. "Back again?" I hadn't stepped foot here in my life. I played along. "Yeah, long week. Which room did she book today?" The receptionist tapped her keyboard. "Oh, she didn't get a room. She just paid for the private lounge access. Same as last time." Private lounge. Paid. Last time. My stomach tightened. I leaned forward casually. "How's she paying these days, card or cash?" The receptionist shrugged. "Card. Always the same one." She turned the screen slightly to confirm I wasn't lying. And there it was. My credit card number. My name. My statement. She'd been swiping my card for a place specifically designed for undisturbed meetings. Before I could ask anything else, another detail knocked the air out of my lungs. The receptionist added, "Her visitor already arrived. He checked in about 20 minutes ago." "Visitor? Checked in? 20 minutes ago?" She pointed toward a frosted glass hallway labeled Private Lounge, Members Only. I didn't walk. I drifted, silent, cold, surgical. Inside the hallway, I heard it. Not voices, not laughter. Something worse. A man's low humming, and her giggle, soft, breathy, the one she never used at home anymore. I froze just outside the door. Then something slid under my shoe. I looked down. A receipt from the vending counter inside the lounge. Bottle of red wine, premium, chocolate truffles, imported, both charged to my credit card. Not a hotel, not a boutique, but a relaxed hidden place where people met to unwind. I didn't rush in. I didn't shout. I didn't break the door. Instead, I leaned against the wall listening, letting the pieces slide into place like a puzzle that suddenly made too much sense. The fake work trips, the late-night strategy sessions, the sudden interest in makeup again, The long showers at 1 a.m., the forgot my wallet excuses, and now at my credit card paying for her comfort while she gave another man her laughter. My jaw tightened until something clicked painfully. I checked my banking app. More charges popped up. Exclusive workspace renewal, $289. Member lounge wine service, $78. Private room upgrade, $64. All from the past few weeks. I didn't need to see her. Not yet. The truth was doing its job without me stepping inside. My eyes lifted to the lounge door. Behind it, her entire double life was unfolding, on my dime. And for the first time since this nightmare began, I felt something I hadn't expected. Clarity. Cold, quiet clarity. Because betrayal hurts, but betrayal with your own money, that awakens something far more dangerous. And standing there, hand wrapped around my phone, I whispered to myself, fine. If she wants to use my card, she's about to pay for a lot more than wine and truffles. Because what she didn't know was that every swipe she made left a trail straight to Karma's front door. I didn't walk into that lounge, not because I was scared of what I'd see, but because I already knew. I wanted proof, real proof, the kind that destroys lies before the liar even opens their mouth. So instead of confronting her right there, I stepped outside the co-working building and waited in my car. Engine off, lights dim, seat lowered just enough to stay invisible. 20 minutes later, the door opened. First came him, a tall man with rolled-up sleeves, one hand tucked into his pocket like he owned whatever room he walked out of. He wasn't in a hurry. He wasn't nervous. He wasn't hiding. He looked comfortable. Too comfortable. Then she stepped out, hair messy in a way she tried to fix with trembling fingers. Her lipstick smudged just slightly at the corner. And her coat, the one she forgot, was at the office, draped over her arm as if she didn't want him touching the expensive fabric. He leaned close and said something in her ear. She laughed, not the giggle from inside, but the soft, private one she used to save for me. That laugh stabbed deeper than anything else. She touched his arm before walking off. She didn't even look back. I watched them part ways, him toward his car, her toward mine. No panic, no guilt. Just casual, like cheating had become routine. She climbed in, adjusting her hair in the mirror as if coming home from a salon, not a secret date. The moment she closed the door, my phone buzzed. A notification from the bank. Thank you for your purchase, $62. Lounge coffee and dessert. My chest went cold. She was buying him dessert with my credit card while sitting in my passenger seat. I stared at her. She forced a tired smile. Traffic was crazy. You okay? No pause, no crack in her tone. No sign she'd just spent the afternoon with someone else. I responded calmly. Yeah, on a long day. Her shoulders relaxed, and too quickly. That was my confirmation. Cheaters only relax when they think the person they're lying to is still blind. Halfway home, she said, oh, I need to stop by the pharmacy. Just 5 minutes. Pharmacy, right. The exact moment she stepped inside, I opened her glove compartment to grab the registration papers. Instead, something slid out. Not a receipt, not a note, not makeup. A key fob, black, metallic, no logo. Definitely not for our house. Definitely not for our car. My stomach twisted. I Googled the tag ID, and there it was. Access key. Private storage unit, monthly fee already paid with my credit card. Storage unit? What the hell was she keeping there? A double life? Expensive gifts? Letters? Evidence of something darker? My pulse spiked. Because cheaters hide affairs in apartments, but they hide secrets in storage units. She returned to the car with a small pharmacy bag, a bag I didn't bother asking about, because my eyes were still on that key fob. On the supermarket drive home, she talked about dinner, about weekend plans, about a series she wanted to watch. Meanwhile, I was staring at her words the way a detective stares at evidence. Every casual tone, every harmless sentence, every normal gesture, it all felt rehearsed. She was living two lives, and she thought she was better at hiding it than I was at seeing it. When we reached home, she kissed my cheek. Steady, practiced, the same way she always did after lying. And as she walked inside, humming softly, I gripped that key fob in my hand until it left a mark in my palm. Because tomorrow, I was going to open that storage unit, and whatever she hid there was going to rewrite everything I thought I knew about her, about us, about the man she'd been meeting, and I had a sinking feeling. The worst part of her betrayal hadn't even been revealed yet. I didn't confront her that night, not because I was scared of the answer, but because I wanted the truth, not the performance she'd give if she saw it coming. So I watched, and the more I watched, the more the truth watched me back. The next morning, she was different. Not guilty, not apologetic, just lighter. People think cheaters are always tense or nervous. They're not. Sometimes they become happy because they finally have something in their life that excites them again, even if it's a lie. She hummed while making coffee. She wore the necklace I didn't recognize. And when I walked into the kitchen, she didn't even jump. She just smiled and soft, casual, too casual. "Morning," she said, handing me a mug. "Big day today." I stared at her, at the way she avoided eye contact, then forced herself to meet it. "Yeah," I said. "Very big." The first piece of evidence came at 2:17 p.m. A notification buzzed on my phone. Her credit card bill, now the one connected to my email, updated, 18,900 rupees. Lux Haven Hotel, 6,200 rupees. Bliss and Bloom Spa, 4,700 rupees. Rose and Ivory Boutique. All in the same hour. My throat dried. She wasn't even trying to hide it. Not anymore. Not when she thought she'd built the perfect system. A password I didn't know, a routine I wouldn't question, a story she had rehearsed down to the pauses. But she forgot one thing. The card was mine. My name, my email, my money, my marriage. At 3:02 p.m., the second piece of evidence arrived. A photo, not sent to me, sent to her. But it appeared on our shared tablet because she never disabled sync. A picture of a man's hand, clean nails, silver ring, luxury watch, resting on a hotel pillow. The message below it read, "Round 2? I didn't blink, didn't gasp, didn't rage. I just stared at that hand, that tiny fragment of the man she was so desperate to protect. And something inside me shifted into place. Not anger, not heartbreak, just clarity. Crystal, surgical clarity. At 4:10 p.m. she called. Her voice was soft, sweet, too warm. "Just checking on you," she said. "You sounded stressed in the morning." I looked at the hotel charges on my screen. I looked at the photo of the man's hand. I looked at the timestamp. She was calling from the hotel hallway. I could hear the soft elevator chimes behind her. "I'm good," I said quietly. "What about you?" A tiny pause, barely a breath. But liars always have that half-second delay when truth touches the edge of their tongue. "I'm fine," she said. And in that moment I realized she wasn't confused. She wasn't torn. She wasn't slipping into someone else's life by accident. She was choosing it, actively, deliberately, daily, one lie at a time. And then the final piece of evidence came. The one that didn't come from her at all. At 5:27 p.m. my phone buzzed. A message from the bank. "Unusual activity detected. Please confirm if this transaction is yours." Another hotel charge. But this time, 49,000 rupees. Executive suite upgrade. An upgrade. She was celebrating something, or someone. And suddenly everything clicked together like a puzzle snapping into place. The makeup, the perfume, the early mornings, the late nights, the polished man with the silver ring, the credit card charges. This wasn't an affair starting. This was an affair thriving. And for the first time, I wasn't scared of the truth. I was ready for it. I didn't go to her. I didn't call her. I didn't ask a single question. Because questions are for people hoping to fix things. I wasn't hoping anymore. I was documenting. I was preparing. 6:12 p.m. I opened a new folder on my phone. I didn't name it evidence. Didn't name it cheating. I named it Tuesday. Just Tuesday. Because one day when she tried to twist the story, when she played the victim, when she cried in front of her friends saying I was overreacting, I wanted her to remember this. It all began on a completely ordinary day, and she destroyed it. I started dropping everything into the folder. The hotel charges, the spa receipts, the photo of the man's hand, the timestamps, the banking alert, the gift bag photo, the lipstick stain on the receipt she left behind 2 days ago. Funny how I didn't notice it then. Piece by piece, her other life started forming its own skeleton. 7:09 p.m. I tracked her location. She never disabled location sharing. Why would she? She wasn't hiding from me. She was hiding around me. A small blue dot blinked on the city map. Not at a friend's house, not at work, not at the late meeting she mentioned in the morning, but at Lux Haven Hotel, 11th floor. The same hotel that billed my card 3 times today. The same hotel she walked into with too smooth hair and too perfect perfume. The same hotel someone else sent her round 2 from. My jaw tightened, but I still didn't move. Not yet. 8:03 p.m. I made my first call, not to her, to my bank. Freeze the card, I said calmly. Sir, are you sure? There's an active… Yes, I cut in. Freeze it, immediately. They did, which meant whatever she was doing at that hotel, she was about to be interrupted, beautifully. 8:37 p.m. The hotel called me, not her, the hotel. Sir, is this the card holder of 44-9321? Yes. Sir, your wife attempted a payment, but the card was declined. She asked us to contact you to confirm. I almost laughed. Almost. Instead, I said, oh, she's my wife? Good to know she mentioned that. Silence. Hotels hate stepping into messes like this. Would you like us to approve the cost, sir? The manager asked carefully. No, I said, and don't tell her I said anything. Then what should I tell her, sir? Tell her… I exhaled, slow and steady, feeling a strange calm settle over me. That the card isn't available anymore, and she'll need to find someone else to pay for her room. A heavy pause. Understood, sir. The call ended, and for the first time all day. I smiled. 9:02 p.m., she finally texted. Not a call, not a voice note, just one short message. Hey, can you talk? I stared at the screen. Her world was starting to crack. The lies she stacked so carefully were beginning to shift, tilt, wobble, and she had no idea I'd already seen everything. No idea I was standing right beneath the whole collapsing structure. Waiting. I didn't reply. Not yet. Not until she walked back into the house with that same too bright smile and realized it wasn't bright enough anymore. The door opened at 11:46 p.m., late enough to be suspicious, early enough that she thought it wouldn't look suspicious. Classic. Her heels clicked against the floor. Slow, hesitant, not the confident rhythm she normally had after girls' nights. She wasn't drunk. She wasn't tired. She was scared. Good. Because fear is the first sign someone knows their lie is collapsing. She saw me on the couch. Lights dimmed. TV off. Phone in my hand. Screen glowing blue against the darkness. She froze in the doorway. Hey, you're still up? Her voice wobbled even though she tried to steady it. I didn't reply. I didn't even look at her. Silence is a mirror. It makes liars see themselves. She took a step closer, then another. Her perfume, the same expensive one she never wore for me, reached me before she did. I kept my eyes on the phone. She started talking fast. When I texted earlier, you didn't answer, so I thought maybe you were asleep or upset or, I don't know, work stress again. Work stress. The universal excuse she used whenever she needed me to stop questioning something. Still, I didn't answer. Her breathing grew uneven, like someone walking into a room they know they shouldn't be in. Then she tried the soft approach. She sat beside me slowly, like approaching a wild animal. Her hand touched my arm. Light, careful, too gentle to be natural. Baby, what's wrong? I finally turned my head. Just enough. Her face. That was the moment everything slipped. She tried to smile. The same fake, stretched smile she practiced in the mirror. But her eyes gave her away instantly. Big, alert, terrified. I asked one question. Did you have fun tonight? It was a soft question. Too soft. Her throat tightened. I told you, it was just a small… Don't lie. 2 words, barely above a whisper. That was all it took. Her entire body flinched. Her eyes flickered away. And then came the first crack in her perfect little story. She swallowed hard and forced a tiny laugh. Lie? Why would I lie? I was just… Hotel. The word hit her like a punch. She blinked, went pale, then froze completely. Not a single muscle moved. She didn't even breathe. Her lips parted slightly, like her brain needed oxygen to come up with the next lie. But no sound came out. None. She knew I knew. She just didn't know how much I knew. Not yet. And that was the part that terrified her most. So she finally whispered, What did you see? I didn't answer. Not verbally. I simply tilted my phone so the screen faced her. Her eyes dropped to it, and the color drained from her face as she saw the folder name. Tuesday. Her hand shook. What, what is this? She whispered. I tilted the screen again. Now the thumbnails were visible. Receipts, timestamps, her location, his car, the hotel charges, the spa booking, her messages, item after item after item, a timeline she didn't even know she was writing. Her breath hitched, then stopped completely. I stood up, not angry, not shouting, just quiet, controlled, the kind of calm that scares people more than rage ever could. Before walking away, I said only one sentence. Tomorrow, we finish this conversation. She called my name. She tried to follow, but I shut the bedroom door before she could take a second step. And for the rest of the night, she sat outside that door on the floor, crying, panicking, realizing she didn't just get caught cheating. She got caught living an entirely different life. I barely slept, and judging by the silence outside the bedroom door, neither did she. When I finally stepped out in the morning, she was sitting on the floor, knees pulled to her chest, makeup smeared, hair tangled. The version of her I hadn't seen in years. The real her. She looked up like a child waiting for a verdict. Can we talk? Her voice was rough, tiny, almost broken. I walked past her calmly and sat at the dining table. She followed, trembling. For once, she was the one scared of the truth. She started talking first. Too fast, too desperate. It wasn't like that. It wasn't what you think. I swear, I never meant to hurt you. I just... Stop. One word. She froze instantly, like someone unplugged her. I slid my phone onto the table. Her eyes locked onto it like it was a weapon pointed at her. She whispered, "How much do you know?" "All of it." She sucked in a sharp breath. That was when the panic finally collapsed into reality. And then the excuses began. Not apologies, excuses. "He listens to me. I thought you didn't care anymore. It only happened once. I was confused. I felt empty. I made a mistake. It wasn't serious." And every sentence contradicted the previous one. Classic liar spiral. I didn't interrupt. I let her burn through every version of her story until she ran out of lies to hide behind. Then she whispered the real one. "Well, it's been going on for months." Silence. Nothing in the world is louder than the truth finally spoken. I asked a single calm question. "So who paid for last night? You or him?" Her face collapsed. Because she knew I knew the answer. Her silence was the confession. Every luxury, every hidden hotel visit, every little self-care night, every spa charge, every ride, every bottle of wine, every room service bill, all of it was charged to my credit card. She didn't just cheat, she funded her cheating with my money. And that's when her fear turned into pure pleading. "Please, please don't leave me. I can explain everything. I can fix this. Please don't ruin my life." I finally looked her in the eyes. Steady, calm, absolute. "You already ruined something," I said. "And it wasn't your life." Her lips trembled. Tears slid down her cheeks. But this time I felt nothing. Not anger, not sadness, not pity, just clarity. The kind that shows up the moment you stop loving someone who never loved you back. She hovered behind me, crying so hard her voice tripped over itself. But I didn't rush or yell or even look at her. I moved the way someone does when the pain is gone and only clarity remains. Calm, cold, certain. I opened my laptop. Her breath hitched, sharp, like someone realizing the fall has already started. What are you doing?" she whispered. I didn't answer. I opened my banking app, scrolled, clicked, opened every transaction string she thought I'd never see. Hotel suites on weekdays, rooftop dinners, ride shares at 1:13 a.m., lingerie stores I'd never even heard her mention, all paid with my card. She reached for my arm, desperate, panicked, like someone grabbing the edge of a cliff. I pulled my arm back. For the first time since this nightmare began, I noticed something inside me. I wasn't hurting anymore. I was done, and that scared her more than any shouting could have. She watched in frozen silence as I clicked report fraud. Each charge, each night of betrayal, officially flagged, logged, documented. Her voice was trembling so hard she could barely form the words. "Please, don't do this to me." I turned the screen toward her. "You already did this," I said, my voice quiet enough to make her flinch. "All I'm doing is stopping it." Her knees almost buckled. Then came the second step, the one she feared the most. I walked to the front door, pulled out her suitcase, set it down without a word. Her face went blank. Not crying, not yelling. Just shock so deep it sucked the sound out of the room. Pack! Nothing more. She started placing her clothes inside with trembling hands, every folded piece a goodbye she didn't want to confront. And I realized something. She wasn't scared of losing the marriage. She was scared of losing the life she pretended she had. The image she protected more fiercely than us. That was the truth she never expected me to see. The third move was the one that shattered her. When she zipped the suitcase closed, she tried again. Can we at least talk about this? Please, please just talk to me. I opened the door. She stepped out, still shaking, still crying, clutching a suitcase and a life that wasn't hers anymore. Then I said, check your phone. She wiped her face with the back of her hand, confused, and unlocked it. And that was the moment everything inside her collapsed. Her family group chat was filled with screenshots. Every hotel charge, every timestamp, every bill, every receipt, all the proof she thought she'd buried. Messages poured in instantly. Her mother, explain. Her sister, is this real? Her uncle, call us now. Her image, the thing she guarded more than our marriage, cracked apart in real time. She whispered, choking on the words, Why would you do this to me? I looked at her, not angry, not triumphant, just finally free. Because you never cared about us, I said quietly. You only cared about looking innocent. And then I closed the door, soft, final, like sealing a chapter that should have ended long ago. And for the first time in months, the house felt like it belonged to me again.